Hello friends and welcome to the learning series of Azure, and today we are going to discuss about the scaling options in the Azure VMS. So why we require scaling? We will discuss about this and then we will discuss about what are the options available in the Azure for the VMS scaling, and then in the last we will configure the auto scaling for our application. So let's discuss why we require the scaling. So what are the benefits we will get when we configure the scaling option for our VMSS? Consider that we have one business critical application, and to get the high redundancy for this particular application, in that case we will always prefer to deploy this application in a VMSS, so that we can scale out that particular application whenever we required, and whenever we feel full our requirement after the period of that time, we can also scale in that particular application to the default configuration, so that we will get the better application performance for our application without any downtime. So here we will discuss about two scenarios. Consider that this is your application that is running on the Azure, and you have placed this application on the VMSS, where your application is distributed across the virtual instances that are part of the VMSS. Consider that you have one application that is running on the Azure, and you have configured this application on the VMSS. So basically if you configure it with the 2 VM instance count as in your default instance counts for the VMSS, so it will by default start your workload on the 2 instances. But you have decided the condition for scale out, like whenever the application utilization go beyond the 75%, so it will start increasing your instance count by 1. Okay, so so that you will get more capacity to fulfill the user request that came for your application. So in that case, whenever we configure the VMSS, we need to configure it with the default instance count that should be minimum 2, and you can define the maximum count for your scale out. So like if for this particular example, my instance count default instance count should be 2, and the maximum instance count should be 10, so that it will start increasing your instance by 1 till the time it will reach to the maximum instance count. Okay, so if you add the third instance, still your CPU count is 75, then it will again spin up one more instance to fulfill the condition, so that it will be on the below 75. So it will increase up to the 10 instance that can be appeared on your VMSS. And in the same condition, you have defined that if the instance count go below the 30%, will start scaling in, like it will remove the one VMs from your VMSS, and it will start removing second one till the time whatever the default count that you have decided. So according to this scenario, you can scale in and scale out and scale in your application instances as per the on the matrix level as per the condition. Now we will discuss about second scenario. Consider that in this scenario you have the application that is e-commerce application that is running on the Azure, and you have placed that application on the VMSS. Just consider it. So like if your e-commerce application, they want to start sales on your application, and they have decided that every Sunday they will start sell on the application, so that on the Sunday you require minimum 10 instances to balance the load of your application. So in that case, you can define the condition where you have to define the condition on the instance basis. So every Sunday your application will be roll up the 10 instances for your VMSS, so that it will balance the whatever the user request that is coming for your application, that will distributed according to the availability of your instances. So in that case, you can achieve, like whenever you want to upgrade, you want to scale out your instances for the particular day or particular time period, so you can do it by using the instance count. So for that particular period of time, you will get the instance count that you have configured in your condition. Okay, so let's move on to the portal and let's see how we can configure these options. So once you log in into your subscription, you have to pick the VMSS where you want to configure the scaling, auto scaling option. So once you click on the scaling option, you will get the prompt or the configuration tab where you can configure the scaling. So there are two types of scaling. One is the manual scaling. Here, whenever you want to manually scale out and scale in your VMSS, so you can need to choose on the scaling option, and you can type the number of instances that you want for your VMSS to run your application. So generally no one can go for the manual scaling. Everyone choose the auto scaling, so that it will reduce the efforts to monitor your application proactively. So Azure can monitor your application. Once the event get triggered for the 75% of instance utilization, it will roll out the new instance for you to load balance your application. So here we are going to define the our condition based on the matrix level, and here what we have decided that the if your the application utilization or instance utilization go beyond the 75%, just increase the instance count by 1. Okay, and in the same way we have decided the second condition where we have decided for the scale in. Whenever the CPU utilization go below this 25%, decrease the count by 1 instance. So according to that we can achieve this scale out and scale in option. So here I will going to make my default instance to should be 2, and the minimum instance and default instance should be same, and I have mentioned that maximum instance count should be 10. So like if the CPU utilization is constant for the 75% for your application instances, so it will increase the instance count by 1, adding 1 instances till the time it will reach to the 10 instances. So this is the one condition. The second condition we have discussed about, we required the instance count for the particular period of time. Like we have discussed, every Sunday we have the sale offer on our application, and for that period of time we required the maximum instance count, so that whatever the max traffic is coming to our application, that will load balance. Okay, so in that case we need to click on the scale to the specific instance count, so that we will get option here to configure it. 12 instance I required for to run this particular application, and I need it repeatedly for particular day. So every Sunday I have sale on my application, so every Sunday I will decide the time zone. So consider that this application is the target user for this application is the Indian user, so that I have decided here time zone for as per the India's time zone, and I have decided that my sale will be start for on this the application start at morning 6, and it will end at 1800. Okay, so that according to this this particular time my instance count should be 10, so that my application will run smoothly, or whatever the request that is coming from the user, that will serve the application. So once you configure all these two conditions, you just need to click on the save button, so it will save the configuration, and definitely you will get the maximum instance count for that particular period of time to serve your application. So like configuring this condition, we can scale out our instances and scale in according to the condition. If that condition match, it will scale out or scale in your application instances. So I hope you understood how we can configure the auto scaling for our VMSS. So that's it for this lecture guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for being with me. Bye bye.